doing today, everybody? Tommy Gun Ricci here. Who-Bangin Sports Talk. Before you bet, Wednesday, February 8th, 2023. How's everybody doing? I'll try to get through one of these shows one of these days without making a single mistake. But then you would think something's wrong with me. Okay, everybody. How's everybody? Good to see everybody. Just a quick little reminder. Our boy Tease is back home. He's feeling better. His little stint in the hospital is over. Hopefully today or tomorrow he'll be back with his college basketball hangout at 3:45. I believe he's going to take a shot at it today. So, take a look. If not, he will be back in full force tomorrow. Glad to have the Who-Bangin team back in full strength. We definitely missed him, and that's it, man. So keep that in mind. Also, Tuesday nights, we have the NBA Live Sweat, the late game, 10 p.m. last night. The two Jimmys, Ix Nizzle and Jimmy Gomez. That's Jimmy Lewazinski and Jimmy Gomez. They did the Lakers Thunder. They had a lot of fun last night. It was kind of like it was a show that we're going to try to turn into something a little bit more. They started out as most shows do start out as two guys that really enjoy the NBA, that are good friends, that just, to do something different, to do something a little fun. And they picked a good time, man. Tuesday night, 10 o'clock Eastern time, late night, late NBA game. It's such a good time, especially when there's nothing else on, nothing else to do. So keep them in mind, give them a follow, give them a listen. Besides all the fun and stuff that they have, they know what they're talking about. They've been hitting some of those live bets, so keep an eye on that. And Wham Talk on Wednesday nights, and just everything to Team Who-Bangin. Keep your eye out. A lot of things happening coming up in the future. Let's talk about some polls. I'm not a big poll guy. I don't really follow them that much until I only really take a look at them now, and this is like 5 weeks before Selection Sunday. So to me, it's a good time to start looking at them. And, I have the coaches poll and the AP poll in front of me right now. I like the coaches poll better because I feel like it's less of the popular media thing. The sports writers know what they're doing. And, the AP is, as we all know, been around. And them and the coaches polls are always pretty much even. But I just like the coaches poll better. I feel like they're more direct and a little bit better for the sports bettor. So that's why I really like them. But they're pretty close, especially in the top 5, 6, 7. And up until 20, I got the top 25 or so, but we'll go over the top 20 quick. And there's only a few little instances where teams are or maybe one down or one up or two down from the selections where they were. What I found more importantly at this time of year is those teams that are peaking outside that top 20. Those teams at the bottom of the other conference, the last 2 or 3 teams, especially those big conferences like the Big 12, the Big East. I mean, even Georgetown, who hasn't won games in their division, they've been keeping games close in their division. They've been scoring some points. I mean, those overs in that division there's been a lot of overs in that division, especially when Georgetown is on the road and playing. And that's just a little hint of where I'm going with one of my games today. But keep an eye on some of those teams. There's going to be some sneaky teams coming in that are either going to play spoiler or are going to just squeak into their conference championships. And you never know what happens, right? Like any playoffs, you never know what's going to happen with a team once they get hot at the end. And look at the Phillies last year, right? Perfect example. So let's go into it quick. I won't keep you too long. Let's go. AP top 25. And I'll tell you where the difference is with the coaches, but right now they're both on the same page. Purdue, number 1. Houston, number 2. Alabama, number 3. Arizona, number 4. AP has Texas, number 5. Tennessee, number 6. Coaches have that reversed. Tennessee, 5, and Texas, 6. The difference now, what I found interesting, is the AP poll had Texas rising 5 spots into the number 5 spot. And the AP poll had them rising 3 spots to the 6th spot. So they both had them at one had them at 9, AP had them at 10, and then now they're up 5 spots in the AP to number 5. So the coaches, the AP thinks that Texas has played a little bit better. and it should be ranked a little bit higher than the AP, than the coaches. But how many times am I going to mess those two up, right? Then after that, we have at number AP poll, number 6 Tennessee, number 7 UCLA, number 8 Virginia, number 9 Kansas, number 10 Marquette. With the coaches, they have UCLA also number 7, up 2 spots. They got Kansas though number 8, Virginia number 9. Virginia they have dropping 5 spots. The coaches have Virginia dropping from number 4 to number 9, where the AP had Virginia only dropping 2 spots. So there was a discrepancy in Virginia from the last rankings, for last week's rankings. So that's a little bit interesting where the coaches feel Virginia is as opposed to the AP. Marquette number 10 on both of them. Iowa State number 11 on the AP. Kansas State number 12. Xavier number 13. Baylor 14. St. Mary's 15. Gonzaga 16. TCU 17. Down 2 points. Down 2 spots. TCU. Indiana, who's been playing better and better. Had that big win over the weekend, which against Purdue. First time they beat the number 1 ranked team at home since 2013. And yes, I was on the wrong side of that one. Miami number 19, Providence number 20 in the AP. Now the coaches have Miami number 20, TCU number 19, as opposed to 17 on the AP. Indiana number 18, Providence 17, Gonzaga 16, Xavier 15, St. Mary's 14. Iowa State 13, Baylor 12, Kansas State 11, Marquette 10. So there you go. There's your top 20. Do you agree? Leave a comment below if you what you think. What do you think about the especially on top? Do you think Purdue is the number 1 team? What do you think about Houston? Alabama has a game tonight against Florida, which should be an interesting game, considering the 2 different styles of play there. So just going to drop, just to go over that a little bit today, just because we got 5 weeks till Selection Sunday. So we'll be going over, a couple times we'll go over that until the end. Should be interesting this year, Selection Sunday. I'm looking forward to the conference tournaments. I love those. I even like the NIT, to be honest with you. Some of those teams, the NIT gets weird. Some teams are mad they didn't make the NCAA and don't care and don't play, and some teams want to prove that they should have been in the NCAA. So the NIT could get to some interesting games, and especially being in the New York area, we get to see a lot of those. And I've been to my share of Big East Conference games, and I would like to hit a couple this year too. So that's where I'm at. Okay, let's go into into some of my picks quickly, and I'll let you get out of here. You can see some of them scrolling across the bottom. I'll just talk quickly a little bit about a few of them, but I'll give you the whole list of what I have. The first game I took was this Tennessee at Vandy, under 133.5. I'll tell you, Vandy, let's take it from this angle. It's not a big travel spot, right? Both teams are close proximity. Vandy this year isn't nothing to speak about, so they don't really have a home court presence that's going to be an interest. I believe Tennessee will probably travel well, and you'll have your fair share of teams. Tennessee, listen, they're the better team. They're the better offense, better defense. We know that, but this Tennessee team just goes into lapses offensively a lot of times. Defensively, they always seem to be on point, but they seem to go kind of up and down on their offense, and they're not a great 3-point shooting team at all, but every once in a while they go off on their 3 points, and that's the only thing I'm concerned about with this under 135. I took it at minus 115 at BetUS. I just believe that this game is going to stay under. That game over the weekend was the Tennessee Auburn game. Didn't even hit 89 points was his final. It didn't even hit the 90 points between the both teams, and it's just that's Tennessee for you. Listen, I believe that Tennessee is the type of team that's gonna maybe just try to get through this game. I could see this being into the 120, 125 area. I don't see Vandy get over 60 points. I would and Vandy has been playing better. They have been scoring a little bit better. Even their defense have been playing a little bit better. And if they could hold, listen, the way I look at this, if they could hold Tennessee to 70 points, and I don't really feel Vandy goes over 60, we got some leeway there with the 135. So I'm on the under 135 minus 115 Tennessee. Another game I'm on is the Hofstra game. I like this Hofstra team, man. They score and score and score. I took the team total though over 75. I didn't like the points, but they really should win this game and should win this game convincingly. But I went with the what I thought was the more consistent bet, and that's that 75 number for Hofstra. I'll tell you, they score a lot of games that they're in that 70 range anyhow, and offense and defensively too. They've let up some points, in some wins over the last 4 or 5. So listen, I feel like this team total of 75 should hit there. I wouldn't even mind if you took the over in this game. It was a couple games that I'm line watching. That part of it I have been line watching. I like to see what's going to go on and where that late money move is, or line move is. I'm not the biggest guy of jumping on games and lines. Even though I'm capping early and I'm capping a little bit the day before, maybe not as much as I should, but it just doesn't work for me as much. And I don't like to just jump on those early lines. And I'm also not a guy who let a line move sway me. So to an extent, of course, and so bunch of times, especially in college basketball, the line moves against you. There's a lot of it seems like it's more and more getting more and more popular, especially with the legal betting now. I think the popularity and the line movements meant something different a few years ago because kind of like hockey, where really sports gamblers, sports bettors, handicappers are betting hockey, especially daily in and out. It's not really the biggest, like what they so-called Joe betting, daily betting thing. The hockey is as much as I think like recreational type, like it is in football, especially college football and NFL. And I think college basketball is creeping up into that lane. So just something to keep in mind. But let's get back to Hofstra. Listen, they beat on the fourth. They beat Stony Brook 79-58. They scored 76 against Townsend. They scored 85 against Charleston. They scored 82 against Elon. Now, in some of these games, they've held some teams down. They've held Elon down to 65 points. They held Wilmington to 46 points, but beat them 70-46. The one game that was just like a misnomer was at Townsend. What was that, January 16th? They lost that game 47-68. What a weird game, right? Against Delaware on the 14th of January, 86 points they scored. So there's plenty of times that they've scored 75 or more points. There's a lot of times that they were at least in the 70s, maybe not hitting that 75, but they have been there. And I thought that was the best way to attack this game. So, team total over 75. Another game I took was the Army game at minus 7.5. It did drop down from 8.5 to 7.5, which I don't agree with that. With that line move, and I just think they should dominate this team. I really thought this line, I didn't think this line move was warranted, and the 7.5 was the 8.5. I probably wouldn't take the 8.5 actually, and that just goes to show you to my point about the line moves and how it don't sway me. I took the game because it went to 7.5. At 8.5 was a little bit too much, and let's face it, this Loyola team. Let's see, 4-8 on the road ATS, 5-5 ATS their last 10, 2-10 on the road outright. Where Army has, well, their ATS record isn't any better. It's 4-5, but they are 7-4 7-4 at home. But in their last 10 games, ATS Army is 7-3. They've been playing better and better. I like them tonight at home in this game. Patriot League, Army minus 7.5, minus 110. Another game that I like, and it's a game that it's a team that I take a lot. And it's a team I take a lot when it comes to the total, and that is Georgetown at Providence. Georgetown Providence game tonight. Listen, first of all, I don't agree with this plus 13 points. I believe that that's high. I believe that if you look back at some of these games that Georgetown has been involved in the Big East, they've been covering those double digit games, even in losses, but they've been covering those double digit games. Georgetown always seems to be in it, but the game did open up at 14 and a half, and now it's 12 and a half, and I believe that's the reason why, because people realize that Georgetown isn't that much of a pushover, even though their record of 1-9 in the last 10, shows that they're not winning games, but they're in the games because they were 6-4 against the spread in those 10 games. So they only won one game out of 10, but they covered 6 of them. So that kind of gives you a little bit of a even on the road. They're 11-12 this year on the road, but 5-3 against the spread on the road. So that gives a little pause. Providence playing well, 17-6 record, 12-0 at home, 8-4 at home ATS, 8-2 ATS last 10. So that's really why I didn't take the points. But push comes to shove, I would take Georgetown plus a 12.5. But what I did take is the over. Obviously, by the way you hear me talking, over 147 minus 110. I like this game tonight. I like Georgetown to keep it close. Like I said, Georgetown has scored some points there, in losses, and I think that we should be able to get to that 147. Against Connecticut, they only scored 62 against Connecticut and 53 against Creighton, but they were both at home, and that's where Georgetown unders have happened, at home. On the road is where they seem to be scoring more points. I think they're running a little bit more on the road. I think they're setting up quicker. At home, I feel like they're trying to play a slower game. What they really try and do is to try to get some wins, but doesn't seem to be helping. But on the road, St. John's games, that was at the Garden, January 29th, 73-75. Now, that was a double. They were what? I know double digits. I don't remember what it was, but it was double digit game, and they covered. But 73-75, and that total was up to 158 in that game. Another one on the road. Well, even at home against DePaul, 81-76 they lost. That was over 150 total. We haven't had too many totals under the 150 on the road that many times. There was one, but that was back in January 10th at Seton Hall, where they went under the 142 with a 50. They only scored 51 points. They lost 66-51. But at Marquette, a couple days before that, they lost 73-95. So there's plenty of times on the road where this game has gone over the 147, and I think tonight is going to be a perfect night for that. Even Georgetown's team total might even be take a look at. Georgetown with the 12.5 points is a look, but trying to keep it simple, I went with the Providence over 147. Another couple games that I'm on, and I won't go into them too much, but the last one I'll go into is the Tennessee under 135 minus 115. Tennessee and Vandy. I could see this game being maybe 130. Tops. I don't see Tennessee scoring more than 70 points. I don't see Vandy scoring more than 60 points. And when I try to attack it that way when I look at my. When I look at different totals and stuff, I try to attack it that way. But I like this game. Vandy isn't. First of all, there is no, like I said, there is no home, no travel spot here, and there's no. Vandy is no home presence. They're not a great team this year. So Tennessee's better in every way. So that's where I went with the Tennessee game. What else do I have on the board? Oh, cool. The one more game I have on the board, and this is what I've been doing with the parlays and stuff. I'm not a big parlay player, but when it comes to Super Bowl time, I like to throw parlays in. And what I do is I pick out teams. And since I've been on a roll with college basketball, I've been using college basketball. Last year I used the NHL. Actually, the last couple of times I've done that, I used NHL. Um, but this year I did it with college basketball, and I've been having success with it. What I'm doing is doing two-team parlays. I only did one three-teamer, and which I talked about on our last show. But and I talked about it last night with Jimmy the Big on his Super Bowl special on Pub Sports Radio. Um, I took tonight Utah State minus 140. The point spread went up a little bit. I think it was 1.5, and then it was 2.5. I took the Utah State minus 140 with the Eagles minus 125 for a plus 202 parlay. I've done this now twice with Jane Madison. Plus 204 was those parlays. So I have a plus 204 with James Madison at one game last, I think, Thursday. Another 204 with James Madison over the weekend. Then I did a three-teamer the other night with Kansas. And which I used their money line minus 200, which is the only time I would ever use a money line that high is in some kind of parlay. And I used North Colorado that night minus one with the Eagles. So that was a plus 410 parlay. So right now I got four. And last night I had the over in the Marquette game. So I've got three two-teamers in the plus 204 area, 203, 204 area. Three open parlays. Then I have a three-team open parlay at plus 40, at plus 410. And then tonight I got Utah State. And if that hits, I'll have another 202 open parlay, all with the Eagles. My plan is, and it's what I've done 3 out of 4 years, and it's worked 3 out of 4 years, is that at best I'll be free rolling for the Super Bowl at 5 to 6 to 1 right now, money line on the Eagles. So I have a plus price right now on the Eagles, and I'm not investing a lot of money in these parlays, and I don't like to invest a lot of money in these big games. I'm the opposite of most. I don't believe in, because it's a Super Bowl, you got to spend double, triple, quadruple the amount you usually spend. Matter of fact, I'm trying to make what I like to do in Super Bowl, which a lot of people like to do. We'd like to take shots, take a price, get a price, take some shots, and that's what I'm going to do. But what I'm doing is free rolling. I'll be free rolling on this game, or I'll be if the point spread ever moved another point and a half or so, where it would be actually a feasible middle. That could always happen too, but not not at 1.5. But that's what I'll do. I will take the Chiefs for the money that I bet in so far. So full disclosure, the two teamers, I only put $50 on these two teamers. So $50 to profit 104 on profit 102 on one of them, profit 202 on profit 104, 104, and tonight would be 102. I profited the other night on the three-teamer, was $100 parlay, and now that's open for 410. So right now I have $200 invested, and one tonight. So tonight would be another 50. That's 250 invested. We don't know if this game is going to hit or not, but right now, even at the 250, I would be at about 4.5 to 5 to 1 right now on the Eagles. If this hit, I'll be over that. I'll be getting up there. So that's kind of how I'm looking at it. And I'm gonna try to. I love the Eagles. I think the Eagles should be the team to that's gonna win. But I will not be counting out the Chiefs like too many are. And if you look at the betting splits, it's just a little bit too lopsided with the Eagles. But let's see if it keeps on going that way, because I would love to see the points really move a little bit, and I'd have a shot at some kind of middle. But other than that, at worst case scenario, I'll be free rolling for the Super Bowl. But I'll let you know on Sunday how close I got, and what every exact game I took, and what I have going, and what kind of hedge we're going to take a look at. Are we going to just free roll, or are we going to guarantee ourselves some money? It depends on if I get lucky enough and keep on hitting these parlays without losing any. So just that ratio just keeps on building up and up and up. So that's my strategy. It's a little crazy, but it's something that's viable. It's something that could work, and it's something that, if you think about, it's good for the championship games. It's good for games that there's point spreads are out there in a week, 2 weeks in advance because you have some room to play with. And Super Bowl's perfect for that, especially this kind of Super Bowl where the lines really haven't moved. So and you can do it with the total also. I mean, in reality, probably the total might even been better because the total hasn't moved. It's been 51, and it hasn't moved off of 51. So as far as that's concerned, but you'll never get a hedge that way. I mean, a middle that way, but you could do it either way. But as long as you hit on a couple, hey, something exciting, something a little bit different. But anyhow, that's how I did that on that game, and that's what I did tonight. We talked about the top AP polls. We're getting close to March Madness. We got 5 weeks of Selection Sunday, so that should be good. So we will be talking more and more. Keep an eye out for my pro tips of the day, the Bangin' Sports pro tip of the day. We put one out yesterday about the Super Bowl quarterbacks. Today we'll have one out tomorrow about the Super Bowl props and just some things you should look at, some different things that might help you get to taking a winning prop and enjoying the Super Bowl. So until then, this is Dami Gunrici for the old Who Bangin' Sports Talk. See you soon.